the space world. Let's go.
A long time ago, there was a Rayman game made for the Game Boy Advance. For those who picked it up were disappointed. It felt cheaply made, and the story is confusing to say the least. For many years, many people tried to forget this game's existence. And eventually, everyone did forget about it. Until one day, there was a boy who lives in some sort of virtual boy purgatory. He goes by the name Hyperness, who has found the very same Rayman game in his closet, and decided it was time to acknowledge this game once more.
Hey, remember Rayman Hoodlum's Revenge? It was released in 2005, only for the Game Boy Advance, and supposedly, it's supposed to be a follow-up to Rayman 3. It was developed by Digital Eclipse, who worked on the Spyro games for the Game Boy Advance. It's also the only isometric Rayman game. Now, from what I've seen from the people who played this game, many of them either have mixed feelings about it, or some even consider it to be one of the worst Rayman games. Well, I don't know about that. I haven't played this game in over a decade, so let's see what all the fuss is all about. Rayman and Globox are sleeping under a tree. Globox is having a dream about the time he swallowed Entree. Then he woke up and heard a sound, then he vanished. Rayman then wakes up, noticing that Globox is missing. So of course, we gotta find him. We start in, hold up. We gotta do Murphy's tutorial. I like how Murphy is trying to teach you how to play the game. And Rayman's like, yeah, I know. Also, apparently we can't swim in this game. Wait, yeah we can. Holy crap! Okay, don't touch the water. Okay, we do have a lock-on button, like in the 3D games. It's not very good, and sometimes it doesn't work. I know a lot of people don't like the combat in this game, but you know what? I'm just glad this game has a lock-on button at all. You also have a crouch button that lets you move the camera around. Yeah, we're gonna be using this a lot. The combat fatigues returns, like the Trollcopter and the Middle Fist. Well, anyways, for majority of the game, you'll be platforming, breaking cages, collecting lums, and turning on switches to open doors. When you beat a level and collect a certain amount of collectibles, you'll get Murphy stamps. If you collect enough of them, you'll unlock challenge stages. Well, after a few levels in, one of the doctors tells us that Globox is being held captive in the Bog of Murk. Eventually, we ran into a machine, and Murphy told us that the hoodlums managed to clone Reflux. Oh, really? That's the plot we're going with? And he's also plum juice power. Okay. At one point, we do get to play as Globox, and it seems that something is controlling him. He also doesn't do much as Rayman does. He gets scared if he gets near a hoodlum, so you have to sneak your way out. However, if he drinks plum juice, you'll be able to beat the hoodlums. He does have another level, where it has a big switch that opens a door, but it only opens when it's pressed. So, you have to gather all the teensies to beat this level. This one was really annoying. One of them scared off and I had to search the entire level for him, just so I can get out of here. Well, let's see what Rayman's up to. Found your boy yet? I didn't want to add anything here, I just thought that was funny. So since we can't swim, we have to use a boat to get around places. You will have to change the water current to continue the level. Thankfully, there's arrows on the side, so you know which direction the water is going. Now, if only the lums weren't so hard to catch. Oh, okay, let's get this cage real quick. Oh, whoa, what the heck? Fuck! Man, I do not get enough credit for doing these bits. After that, we finally found Globox. Oh, yeah, and I guess we have to fight Begoniacs, so let's take care of that real quick. Now we can play some levels with Rayman and Globox. You can switch between Rayman and Globox with the select button. Globox will often need to stay on switches for Rayman to get around places. At one point, I actually got it stuck because I forgot to turn on a switch somewhere, so I had to backtrack to find that switch. I also forgot to mention every level has a map. Is it useful? Kind of. Even with a map, it doesn't help that a good chunk of the levels look the same. Actually, now that I think of it, this game gives me a headache. Well, anyways, after that, we entered the land of the living dead. Well, this does not look like the land of the living dead. Maybe it's the underground part of it? And it seems that Rayman still doesn't know what's up with Globox. And there's another lava level. where you need to collect tablets and restore them to the stone to open an exit. It also has a third combat fatigue that makes you immune to lava. That's neat, I guess. Now we have a lava monster to fight. Let's do that real quick. Okay, wow, that was pathetic. And it turns out that Globox is being mind controlled by Entree. He did this by leaving a piece of himself behind from the last game? Dude, this plot is whack, man. Now that Entree has taken full control of Globox's body, he's gonna conquer the heart of the world. Oh, he also called Rayman lame man. So now we have sky levels to go through, and these will test your platforming skills. It's really hard to tell where you're at from these platforms, although that's a common complaint from isometric games. I also forgot to mention that you can grab on ledges, but you can only grab ledges from the front side, and you can't just fast fall to them. You have to helicopter down slowly to grab on. Well, thankfully you don't have to worry about lives in this game. Now we enter the heart of the world. That used to be run by Teensies, now it's being run by... Oh, who am I kidding? It looks and plays like every other level we went through. Okay, finally got to Reflux's lair, but we're too late. Entree transformed Globox into Reflux. Ha! Perfect timing, Ray moron! Yeah, the boss fight was just as lame as the last boss. Now that Reflux is defeated, Entree's spirit left Globox, and he's back to his old self again. Thanks, Rayman. I don't know what I'd do without you. You and I make a great team, Globox. What a weird game. Yeah, Rayman Hoodlum Revenge is actually pretty mediocre. I can see why no one talks about this game. Hoodlum's Revenge might just have the worst bosses in the series, and every level just feels the same. Aside from the wacky story, it's pretty jank and it's not worth your time. Sorry I had to cut this one short. I just wanted to do this one particularly just to cross it off the bucket list. But hey, maybe the other Game Boy games fare better. Kinda crazy how out of all the Rayman games I've covered, I still haven't covered the Rabbids games yet. Well, I'm gonna head out. See you later.